What's up everybody, Badass Games. Welcome to the finale video for the Resident Evil walkthrough series. Resident Evil, the original release, blew our minds when we found out about its many endings. This sort of thing has been done before, of course, but Capcom truly understood how to interweave gameplay with story. While the story is like any other, left open to criticism due to logical flaws, that reach is no doubt within the imaginative limits and delivers a compelling experience to the gamer. In this video, I'll explain how to correctly branch the gameplay to beat the game and get any of the endings this game has to offer. This video doesn't contain the videos for the endings. After I show you the proper steps to unlock a particular ending, I'll move on to the next ending. This way, people who wish to remain blissfully ignorant for their own playthrough can do so. If you wish to watch a particular ending, I'll provide an annotation you can click to get you to the ending video. Also, stick around for the end of this video for a compilation of death animations. Before I jump into the endings, I'd like to mention a little bit about some perks you can obtain and use in your next playthrough with the same character. You can obtain an infinite ammo rocket launcher at the beginning of the game if you load a save file you've created after completing the game in under 3 hours, regardless of the ending you get. This may sound like a difficult task, but it's actually quite simple if you know the puzzles, what items you need, where you need them, and when to carry them. A large majority of the enemies are not required to be killed, saving time and allowing you to stock up on ammo for bosses that need to die, while skipping ammo that won't be used. I highly recommend trying to get the infinite ammo rocket launcher because it trivializes much of the game for achieving the other endings. If you decide to attempt an under 3 hour run, then let me recommend some endings to strive for to simplify the task. As Chris, it's much easier to get the good ending, that is, save Rebecca and do not rescue Jill, than any of the other endings. You will save time, and time is of the essence. This is also probably the most common ending people will encounter. As Jill, it's much easier to get the worst ending by ditching Barry after he ditches your rope. This way you don't have to put up with his crap in the underground passage, saving precious time. Again, this is also probably the most common ending people will encounter. You can also obtain a special key that allows you to change your outfit after a certain point in the game if you load a save file you've created after completing the best ending for a particular character. That's the only requirement. It's also possible to complete the game in under 3 hours while obtaining the best ending for either character, giving you both of these goodies for your next playthrough. Alright, let's jump in and start talking about endings. Each character has 4 endings that rank in the following way: worst, bad, good, and best. As each character, Chris or Jill, there are 2 other characters that can be optionally saved. As Chris, you have the option to save Rebecca or Jill, and as Jill, you have the option to save Barry or Chris. Saving the non-playable character, Rebecca or Barry, gives you the good or best ending for your character, depending on if you save the playable character also. Saving the playable character, Jill or Chris, gives you the bad or best ending for your character, depending on if you save the non-playable character. Chris Redfield, worst ending. When playing as Chris Redfield, it's actually somewhat difficult to get an ending that's not good or best. Getting the worst or bad ending as Chris is a 2-step process, while there are 2 1-step processes for saving Rebecca. To get the worst ending as Chris, you have to end the game with Rebecca dead, while Jill remains in the prison cell. Keeping Jill in the cell is easy, you just don't complete the ammo disc side quest. But killing Rebecca requires you to find her in the west storeroom, where she sprays you with something. As you leave the storeroom, Rebecca asks if she can follow you. You must say no to this question to get the worst or bad endings. One of the good things about saying no to this question is that Rebecca will remain in the west storeroom and you can come back to have her treat your wounds without using any herbs or first aid sprays. However, this is not the only step required. By saying no to Rebecca, she'll remain in the mansion when you go to the guardhouse to fight Plant 42. Instead of having Rebecca build the V-Jolt, you must fight Plant 42 at full strength. When you arrive back at the mansion, there are 2 things you can do to set the next event in motion to get the worst or bad endings. One is to kill the first hunter you encounter. If you decide to dodge him and run into the office first, then you will also cue the proper event. Chris realizes that this house is full of hunters now and worries about Rebecca. To get the worst or bad endings, you must not go to the west storeroom, at least not until after you've killed Yawn 2. If you do, you will automatically save Rebecca and the better endings will be forced on you. After killing Yawn 2, you can simply go and grab the battery and head to the laboratory to ensure Rebecca's death. But if you approach the west save room after Yawn 2 is dead, then you will encounter a scene where a hunter is attacking Rebecca. Do not save Rebecca here by not killing the hunter. Turn and leave, and if you come back, Rebecca will be dead and you will have ensured yourself either the worst or bad endings. At the end of the game, make sure you do not complete the ammo disc side quests. This will make sure Jill remains in the cell when you escape, leaving both optional characters to their demise. Chris Redfield bad ending. To get Chris Redfield's bad ending, you must do the same thing as the worst ending to make sure Rebecca dies. However, for this ending, you must rescue Jill by completing the MO Disc side quest. Also, by not saving Rebecca, you won't have to fight Tyrant 2. Jill Valentine worst ending. Similar to the Chris storyline, in order to get the worst ending for Jill, you must ensure that Barry dies and Chris remains in his cell. In contrast to the worst and bad endings for Chris, it's much easier to ensure Barry's death, thus resulting in the worst and bad endings. In fact, saving Barry is a 2-step process, while killing him has 2 1-step processes. One of the ways to kill Barry is to continue through the Full Metal Prison after he leaves to find another rope. This is enough to guarantee Barry's death. Under this story arc, you will not encounter him in the underground passage, and he will not attempt to save you from Wesker before fighting Tyrant 1. You will then encounter a now dying Barry as you escape the laboratory with or without Chris. If you decide to wait for Barry to bring you a second rope, then have no fear, there is another way to ensure Barry bites it. Under this story arc, you will encounter Barry in the underground passage, and he will ask you 2 yes or no questions about teaming up, resulting in 4 possible realities. To ensure Barry's death here, branch the questioning such that you do not want to team up and that you will stay put. If you don't branch the questioning this way, then there are 2 other realities where you can still knock off Barry. Whatever you do, do not answer yes to sticking together while answering no to having him go first. If you do this, then you will save Barry automatically. Any of the other question branches will cause Barry to take off without you, and you must follow up with another action to make sure Barry dies. After Barry walks off, do not follow him through the same door after hearing the commotion. If you perform the questioning steps correctly, then after speaking to Enrico and heading back to the entrance for the underground passage, you will encounter a dying Barry, ensuring your victory toward the worst or bad endings for Jill. Make sure you do not complete the MO Disc side quest to save Chris if you want the worst ending. Just like Rebecca, by not saving Barry, you won't have to fight Tyrant 2. Jill Valentine bad ending. To get the bad ending for Jill Valentine, save Chris from his cell and make sure he escapes with you after making sure Barry will die. Just a tiny bit of information here, the bad endings for Jill and Chris are the same ending since you escape with each other in both playthroughs. Chris Redfield good ending. It's very simple to ensure you get the good ending for Chris. There are 2 things you can do to ensure Rebecca is saved. One thing you can do is simply answer yes to her question about following you. That is the only step necessary to save Rebecca. Even if you answered no to this question, then you can still save Rebecca by saving her from the hunter that I mentioned previously. Make sure he dies and Rebecca won't. However, there is another way you can guarantee Rebecca remains alive. If you grab the herbicide from the east storeroom, use it to claim the armor key, and make your way over to Richard, the guy that's been bitten by the snake, all before you ever step foot in the west storeroom, you will find Rebecca attempting to perform her medical duties on Richard. By doing this, you have made sure Rebecca will escape with you. There are no other steps under this story arc. To ensure the good ending, make sure you do not complete the MO Disc side quest, leaving Jill to rot in her cell. Chris Redfield best ending. Naturally, save Rebecca as mentioned before, and also complete the MO Disc side quest. That way, Chris rescues both Jill and Rebecca, securing Chris's menage a trois. Jill Valentine good ending. In order to get either the good or best ending as Jill, you have to perform 2 actions with regards to Barry. First of all, you must wait for him to bring you the second rope. Afterwards, he will be encountered in the underground passage and put you under interrogation. To guarantee that Barry will be saved, be sure to answer yes to teaming up with him and no to having him go first. This will ensure he survives and he will follow you all the way to Enrico. Whatever you do, do not answer no to teaming up while answering yes to staying put. Otherwise, you've signed Barry's death certificate. Remember, there are 4 possible realities from this line of questioning. If you branch it any other way than those just mentioned, then Barry will take off without you and you'll hear some commotion. In this case, follow Barry into the door he went through. This will ensure that you complete the game with either the good or best ending. The next step to getting the good ending is to ignore the MO Disc side quest and escape the mansion with Barry alone. Jill Valentine best ending. Finally, to get the best ending for Jill, save Barry as just mentioned and complete the MO Disc side quest. This will ensure the other Jill sandwich.
Jill sandwich.
You guys picking up what I'm putting down? Alright guys, this has been the finale video for my Resident Evil walkthrough. Thanks so much for watching and all the support you guys given me during this journey. Keep watching for a death animation compilation, and I'll see you guys in whatever video you decide to watch next. I'm Badass Games. Take it easy. Oh, there it is. There's the death. He cut my head off. That guy's pretty good.
Ah!